Hey guys, welcome to Asmisart by Asmita. Today I have this new epoxy resin to try, which is from the epoxy resin store. They recently contacted me and sent this for me to try. Um, I have this already poured into this cup now, and I've poured 40 ml part A and 40 ml part B. It's 1:1 ratio. If you're doing by volume, by weight, it is 100:85. So let's start mixing this and see how the resin mixes up first of all before we start pouring. I've been continuously working since this morning in my studio. So I've done few alcohol ink works before making this video, and you can see some of the gold already on my fingers, rather my gloves. So I thought, why not to test this new resin with you guys. If we like it, I will make sure that I have a coupon code for you guys to save on this. So it says Woodcrafters epoxy resin, but I think for most of us, we'll first try in the silicone molds for the casting, and then we'll see how to use this on the wood in the next step. So first it will be just our silicone molds. While I'm mixing this, I would like to tell you it's raining outside and the studio is now getting cooler than it used to be, so the temperature ideal for any epoxy resin is 70 to 75 degrees, but then we can always take control over the results by deciding on the other factors. So my number one tip would be to give your resin a warm bath, which means you put both parts separately into your warm water. So how you have to do it, you just have to either pour part A and part B in two different cups and then put those cups into a warm water bowl and wait for a minute or so, and you will notice that it becomes really fluid and very workable. So I had put the resin bottles in a room which had heating on, so the temperature was 75, 76 in that room, and that made it really easy for me to mix this resin. We are almost 2 minutes into mixing this already, and now I'm just making sure that I scrape all the sides of this silicone cup. And as you can see, I'm using a spatula, a palette knife. So things like these really help with the mixing of resin, and you can use these things over and over again. Though I also encourage you to use the popsicle sticks, which are wooden, but if you already have these silicone spatulas lying at home, why not to use them? Because I think these 2 or 3 painting tools which I already had in my cheap brush set I was anyways not using those in my painting, so I took these out and started using for mixing resin. But you can always use and reuse your wooden stir sticks up to hundreds of times, because once the resin cures on them, you can use it again and it doesn't affect the result. It just makes the wood non-porous, which means there are lesser air bubbles when you mix your product. In coming days, you will see me doing more of mixed media acrylics and some texturing, etc., so that it's easier to work with those mediums during the cooler months in the cold temperature, wherein you have to close the windows and doors and switch on the heating. I never recommend using resin in such environments. So all right, so it looks quite good to me when mixed up. Since it is not your typical art resin, so you would notice the amount of air bubbles obviously are more than your art resin, because it's suitable for your highly usable surfaces like your wooden table or tabletop, as you could say. So it has to be thicker formula, because your art resin usually is softer when it cures as compared to tabletop or wood epoxy resin. So as you can see, there are no traces of part A or part B not being mixed, which I have already described in another video wherein we were mixing resin, but it's an old video and I was really very fast with mixing resin in that one. But it's good for beginners, because once you're using your heat tool on that, it really doesn't matter with the bubbles. Okay, so let me just put this and bring my silicone mold for you guys so that you see what we are going to pour this into. Okay, so here you go, guys. This is a phone grip mold that I designed on my own. So once this cures, we just put the phone grip on this and it becomes really an artistic thing to add on top of those boring plain substrates. Or you can use this like a badge, or I mean, it's the uses are endless, but for me that's what I planned. So I made this mold on my own, and then I went ahead and I put some of the glitters. I just sprinkled the glitters, and then I got these Christmas glitters from resin store, which I will also put a link to in the description box. And I do have a coupon code for you guys to save 15% on your order. I have almost 50 glitters from the store and I absolutely love all those. You might have seen some of those in my previous videos as well. So these are resin store glitters that I put into this mold, and now we'll be pouring some resin. So I'm putting this on the flat surface which is now covered with a cardboard piece, because it's easier once the resin is cured on the cardboard. You can just reuse it, and it's really very easy to work on. Doesn't get burnt or doesn't get hot when you put your heat tool on that, so it works for me. Okay, so here we go. Slowly we'll just pour some of our resin. First I'm putting on these snowflakes that I have lined up here in a pattern. And then I'm slowly going towards the edges and then the middle. All right, so I think it didn't take more than 10 ml in all. So we'll be using this rest of the resin into another mold, but for now let's get my heat gun. But before that, let me remove the mixed resin so that it doesn't get warm again with the heat tool. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna give some heat with my Wagner heat gun. All right, it looks clear now, so I didn't have to use a lot of heat. And let me just bring it closer for you guys. I have to be careful because I do not want my snowflakes to move here and there, so I will just put this aside and let it dry. As you can see, some of the bubbles are already rising to the surface, so I'll go ahead and just blow it once more with the heat gun. I'm just waiting for a minute for more bubbles to rise, if there are any. You always should wait for your bubbles to rise up, so do not apply too much heat on the very first go. Just wait for whatever heat you have supplied first, and then see that some of the bubbles will start rising to the top, and you can go ahead and just go once more slowly over that surface. Let's do that now. And just in case you are not sure of how much heat you have to apply on a particular silicone mold, what you can do is you can take a toothpick and then just pop these bigger bubbles that come on the surface, so that you have absolutely a clear finish. So as you can see, looks great as of now, and I'll put this to cure, and once demolded I'll be putting this on my Instagram, which is Asmisart _by_Asmita, and you can watch me unmolding this and some stills or videos there. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you soon. Have a great day. Bye bye.